Hey everyone, Sirturmund here again. And today I'm bringing you a fun deck that I always like playing and I feel like has gotten a little bit better this patch thanks to the buff to Mammoth Shaman. And this is going to be Gnar Sejuani. So if you're not familiar with this Gnar Sejuani deck, which is playing Bandle City as the second region, the idea is that we're trying to obviously level up Sejuani, but we'll also have multiple win conditions through the transform between Gnar, Tinidactyl, and then the Mammoth Shaman. So any one of these four units transforming or getting value is enough to kind of put us really far ahead. The rest of the deck has really low cheap units and low spells that are actually allowing us to get to those win conditions, right? So the Chemist is really good in this deck because it summons the Scrappy Bomb. So let's say you have Chemist on turn 1. You can play Chemist on turn 1, summons the Scrappy Bomb, and because the Scrappy Bomb has countdown 3, it will trigger on turn 4, which already enables your Gnar or your Tinidactyl level up, right? So the Chemist is kind of like a nice way to set up a transform in the future. Poison Dart and triple Pokesticks are kind of there to be able to hit the Nexus and level up our Sejuani. Obviously, Pokestick is the best one because it's fast and lets us draw. 3 Sisters to kind of protect ourselves. We are going to need these freezes because of all the Lee Sins running around, for example. Conchologist has a lot of good hits in Freljord and Bandle City, so I like it. Drop the Bomb is kind of like a worse inventive Chemist, but it's still really nice because it's dealing 2 to an opponent's units, so it's kind of like a heavy metal if you think about it that way. Stone Stackers and Tusk Speakers are just there to kind of level up our champion, our Sejuani, and be able to put a lot of pressure. We do kind of win the game by just putting a lot of pressure on the opponent and kind of letting them getting them to low enough HP that our Gnar or Tinidactyl or Shaman or Sejuani can finish up. So Stone Stackers and Tusk Speaker lets us get there, especially Tusk Speaker being able to let us trigger the Nexus damage in the opponent's turn. Troll Shen lets our Tinidactyl survive, right? So it's very easy for opponents to remove Tinidactyl. So Troll Shen is there to protect it and also kind of allows us to take some really nice trades. Stress Defense is there to, again, also protect our units, but also could stop like a big attack from an Elusive or a Lee Sin. Double Wallop for the stuns against the Elusives or a Pantheon or a Fiora. And then we get to our win conditions, right? So Gnar, straightforward, can give us more Pokesticks, can level up, get overwhelmed, and also tag an opponent's units. Becomes really good. Tinidactyl is amazing because you get him down and he starts dealing 1 damage to the Nexus every single turn, allowing you to level up your Sejuani really easily or be able to trigger your Shaman in a future turn. It can be a little bit awkward though if you have both Tinidactyl and Sejuani in the field, because there are times where you actually don't want to trigger the Sejuani right away at the start of the turn, right? Let's say that the opponent has a Nami, that would allow them to buffer their units 1 more time. Shaman got buffed, so now it becomes a 5-5 and then becomes right away a 9-9 after you transform it once. So it's a unit that the opponent has to deal with right away and puts a lot of pressure on them, and then obviously Sejuani can just lock people down. This deck actually does really well against Nami decks because one thing you need to know about Sejuani is that if you have a level of Sejuani in the field and then you play Pokestick, even though the opponent has Nami in the field, they can't really buff their units because the Pokestick goes second after the opponent already does all their burst speed spells, which means that the Pokestick will still freeze all the units even though they get buffed. So just keep that in mind. But anyways, I had a lot of fun with this deck. Actually been doing really well for me. So hope you enjoy it. And if you do like this video and our content, please make sure to like it below and subscribe to us. We post LOR videos every single day. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Nami Lee Sin Twisted Fate. We have a good chance of kind of locking them down, to be honest. I like keeping the Pokestick. So I like keeping the Pokestick to be able to deal with the Bastion Disciple if the opponent hasn't. Since the opponent is attacking on turn 2, they could have the Bastion Disciple and the Pokestick lets me kill it against everything except for Momentous Choice or Twin, right? This deck usually doesn't play Twin, but it will be a Momentous Choice. And if they play Momentous Choice there, I'd be cool with that, right? So we can Chemist. Now we just need to get Gnar or Tinidactyl so that the Scrappy Bomb triggers on turn 4, enabling one of those 2 units. We get the free hit here, potentially leveling up our Sejuani. And let's see. I have to hope that the opponent plays Disciple, right? That's why we kept this. Oh, that's even better now. So the Momentous Choice no longer saves it. I prefer to do this. It beats the Momentous Choice that we talked about. And if the opponent has a second Disciple, we're always losing to the second Disciple anyways. I think I do need to play around the double trouble. So I think I'm just gonna push the damage through. I guess opponent could technically have access to Iron Akaboros here, but then that's delaying their level up by a lot. This Chemist means that Sejuani is gonna be leveled up already without us doing anything else. So this is gonna trigger on the opponents. If I play this now, it's gonna go down. It's countdown 3, right? It's countdown 3. So if I play this now, it's gonna countdown 2, countdown 1, countdown 0. Okay, yeah, I think it's fine to play now. Now we just need Gnar, Dactyl, or the Shaman, right? This 3 cyst is gonna be really important later on. Very important later on. These Pokesticks are gonna be good at enabling our Sejuani to potentially be able to kill the opponent, or I mean freeze the opponent. So I really don't want to use them. Yeah, I don't think it's correct to use this these Pokesticks just yet. Because I need them to be able to freeze the opponent's board. The flash freeze is probably gonna be important as well. Like very important. Question is here, do we just attack? I need to kind of put pressure on them, but again, because we don't have Teeny Dactyl, I feel like opponent's gonna be able to bounce back in this game. Because there's too many ways that they have to stop Sejuani. Between the Homecoming, between the denies on the Pokesticks, etc. We do have multiple freezes though, so we should be okay. I'm willing to attack here. If the opponent wants to block with Nami, then I think I'm willing to actually spend it on the Nami. I'm willing to spend the Pokestick on the Nami. Otherwise, you're going down. I mean, at the very least, you have to always block here, right? Makes the most sense. Okay, yeah, you block it. So the Nami is not going to be leveled up just yet. You're not able to block with Nami anymore. Because you don't have enough mana for Wuju style. So if you block with Nami, you lose to the Pokestick. And I think opponent just realized that. Again, though, our hand is quite a bit awkward, right? Like, yes, you know, we have Sejuani. But that's not going to be enough. Okay, so opponent goes ahead and levels up their Nami. I think I like... I think I like the Conchologist over the Sejuani. Second flash freeze. So we have enough ways that I don't think we're gonna be anyway dying. So the reason that I like Sejuani next turn is so that we can pull the Nami and push the overwhelm damage instead. So I think that's okay. Opponent's gonna go for the second Nami spell. They're trying to use spells to be able to do the Burblefish, right? So they've done 2 spells, 3 spells here. So they've done 3 spells. The Burblefish still costs 3 mana. Once they do this too, they're gonna be down to just 1 mana. Burblefish. The only downside is that the Sejuani doesn't really stop the Nami from just buffing stuff. But the fact that the opponent just committed their second Nami, and I think I actually just pass here, by the way. I think I'm okay taking this damage now. Because I feel like these guys are gonna become stronger later on, and I might need chump blockers later on rather than now. The problem with Nami, the problem with the Sejuani here is that he's obviously gonna get recalled by the Homecoming. So the opponent will easily recall this Sejuani, no matter what we do. But I think we have to just go for it. We have to just go for it and just threaten the opponent. They're gonna just Homecoming Sejuani, but that's gonna tap them out, right? And this is exactly why we kept these guys here. Because we need to chump block next turn when these two are going to be a lot stronger. If we chump block there, then the opponent could have just potentially just killed us in one shot. Cool. I mean, I'm okay with this. I mean, Sejuani is going to still be alive. Sejuani is still gonna be in the field, so I'm actually okay with this. I mean, it means that we don't kill the Nami, which is really annoying. We have way too many freezes, though. I need that teeny dactyl. I need the teeny dactyl on the Mammoth Shaman. Otherwise, we don't really have any win condition here. It's a little bit unfortunate. Actually, the Nami doesn't... Because we have Poke Sticks, we can actually counter the Nami. Because the Poke Sticks happen after... Man, they had to get the one of Twisted Fate, huh? Because the Poke Stick happens last, it means that the opponent cannot actually buff their units. Because the Poke Stick will always happen last. We have enough Poke Sticks that I'm okay taking this play. That's their single Twisted Fate. I think we just kill it, right? Opponent only has enough for one deny. I guess opponent could have Homecoming here. So opponent could have Homecoming, and that's where we use the second Poke Stick. That's the only Twisted Fate, so I'm actually kind of willing to just kill this Twisted Fate now. Even though, you know, there's a low chance that the opponent actually ever levels up Twisted Fate. But like I talked about, it's actually kind of nice here because opponent cannot actually buff their units afterwards. We are going to have to play the second Poke Stick, it looks like. So we are going to have to play that second Poke Stick just so that we don't die. Boom. Let's go here. It's a little bit risky, right? But I don't think I have any other time to play this. Again, a little bit unfortunate. We just drew 2 more cards. And we still didn't get our Teeny Dactyl or Gnar. So that kind of sucks. Also, not playing the Sejuani this turn means that we lose to a second Homecoming. Right? So we're losing to a second Homecoming. I'm completely fine with this. I'm completely fine with this heavy metal, right? We can Sejuani the Nami and then pull with the Tusk Speaker. You are cute. So if the opponent has a second Homecoming, the Sejuani is not going to be in the field anymore. So our only chance is to kill this Nami. I hope that the opponent has no other way to stop this. So killing this Nami kind of gets us there. Unless the opponent has a third Nami, right? But if the opponent plays third Nami, then they're tapping out of... They're tapping out of the stuff, right? They could still have access to the second Homecoming. And just wait until after we commit everything. They could also have access to deny. And that makes the Poke Stick lose. So deny means that we lose on the Poke Stick attack. Deny, Nullify, Homecoming. There's too many outs. There's way too many outs that the opponent has. I think this time around we're definitely just killing their strongest units more than anything else. If opponent has the Homecoming or the deny, they win the game. I can't pretend that they don't have it. If we had another Poke Stick, maybe, or if we had the Aisha, and there you go. Oh, actually, wait a second. We have Entomb. We have Entomb. So it has to be denied. Has to be denied. We don't have access to a second Entomb, though. So it has to be denied here, or the third Homecoming. For them to actually get there. Alright. I'm chilling now, huh? We play Gnar. We have triple overwhelm units. Okay. So we have another axe. Opponent showed us that they don't have the deny. And that was their second Homecoming. So they have to dig here. The only downside is that this shell is gonna make the rest of their units just so much bigger. Wait, opponent didn't commit. Oh, opponent didn't commit. They still have enough. They still have enough overwhelm blockers, though, right? I wish I had this card earlier. Wish I had this card earlier. We go like this. This guy's gonna get bigger, right? I think we actually go here. That way the opponent has a harder time finding... Like, they would need to have a ton of spells here, right? They would need to have a ton of spells here to actually be able to get us. So let's see how this goes. We have the Entomb, remember, right? That could allow us to push the lethal damage. Entomb or Fury. This Meditate does put him out of range. I like the Entomb. I like the Entomb because the opponent already showed us that they don't have access to... Opponent already showed us they don't have access to deny, right? So opponent literally just told us, hey, we don't have access to deny. Do we let the Sejuani go, or do we let the Gnar go? I guess the Sejuani is better, but if the opponent has the, if opponent has it, they have it, right? But this at least still gets rid of the Elusa. We just need 2 damage. Did they get the deny? They got the deny. They go down to 1. We have the... Oh wait, you were living at 1. You were living at 1, opponent. I mean, we had the poison that, but they were living at 1. GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Nami Master Yi. Our deck might actually struggle against them, to be honest. Ooh, this Mammoth Shaman is interesting. This Mammoth Shaman is interesting because it's a threat that the opponent's gonna have to deal with, right? What if we keep everything here? What if we keep everything here? Just so that we can set up this Mammoth Shaman? Oh, that's perfect. So we can go Chemist here. And the Chemist will enable our Tinidactyl, and our Tinidactyl will enable the Shaman going forward. Now, I gotta calculate... When do I have to use Drop the Bomb so that it triggers on the turn that the Shaman comes down? So, this one's gonna trigger on turn 4. Next turn, what I play is gonna trigger on turn... I don't think it's worth it, right? I play this next turn, it's gonna trigger on turn 6, right? Because Stone Stackers, play Drop the Bomb, go from there. I just want to put a lot of pressure on them. There was a chance that it was better to just drop the bomb last turn, right? I'm gonna let the opponent block with Master Yi if they want to. Because we're always gonna drop the bomb this turn, right? So we're always gonna drop the bomb this turn. That will get this crappy bomb going so that on turn 6 the Shaman is enabled. Unfortunately, the opponent had the Nullify, so we're not gonna be able to actually kill it. But we still have the Tinidactyl, right? So opponent has to be able to kill this Tinidactyl. I think it's always gonna be Tinidactyl over anything else, right? Force the opponent to have the way to kill this, and they don't have it. So now this Tinidactyl is enabled, meaning that we can get a pretty big attack next turn as well. Here's the question, is it Gnar or is it second Tinidactyl? I think it's your second Tinidactyl, right? And we just kind of bring down the opponent's HP. They could do the Shaman win here, that would trigger the flow. Sejuani level up doesn't really matter in this matchup. I think it has to be second Tinidactyl. Now if the opponent's gonna go ahead and trigger the flow like we expected. Because my concern here is that if I attack with the pterodactyl, right? All we're doing is just losing... I guess we attack now. Now that we got the Troll Shan, I'm willing to attack. Because we have the Troll Shan, I'm willing to attack. I force the opponent to have an answer here. Wow. They're just gonna give me that Bestand Disciple like that. They still take all that damage from the impact. We play the second Teeny Dactyl. And now what? You're taking 2 damage every turn? I guess opponent's gonna try to go for 2 spells here. Get the Eye of the Dragons enabled. Tailstones. If they go for the health pot, we can Pokestick. So we can Pokestick this Master Yi so that the opponent no longer gets any cost reduction and also doesn't get the flow trigger. We can play the Gnar or we can just play the Shaman. The Mammoth Shaman. It's also just as good. They are going to heal up here, which is a little bit annoying, but I think it's fine. They need to attack, right? They need to attack, so I think I just pass first. Wait for their attack. They go for it. Do we ever pass here? No, I think we always play the Shaman. This is going to be a very big attacker. Opponent still needs to have one more spell to trigger the Dragon Links. And we have the Troll Shans to kind of stop the Dragon Links anyways. Go hard. Okay, there we go. Yeah, we have the Troll Shans to kind of stop the Dragon Links. And we also have the Overwhelm here. So, opponent's going to need to have, I guess, a Vengeance and a Stun potentially. Sejuani is interesting. But the Gnar is probably better, right? The Gnar is probably better. And we still, that way we get a Pokestick here and we still have access to Troll Shan. Really? So we can Troll Shan to negate this lifesteal. Opponent gets to attack us here. They need to have the Vengeance for this, which they go for, but they still take 3 sits because of the impact triggers. And they will need to still have a second Gohar. So they still need to have a second Gohar to really make this do anything to us. So they still need a second Gohar in order for them to get another Dragon Link. It's possible they have a second Gohar. Gnar levels up here though. We get the Pokestick, which could potentially kill that G if the opponent gets greedy. Doesn't have the second Gohar, so they don't even get the Dragon Link. We get the Overwhelm on the Gnar now. We can play Sejuani. We have access to the Tough Speaker. I actually don't want to play Sejuani until the opponent commits like 4 Dragon Links. Really? Why are we not passing here? Why would we not pass here? Talk to me, opponent. Why would we not pass here? What would be the reason for us not to pass there when you obviously have Ruination? You have to, like, this had 2 damage right here. You have the Overwhelm damage you have to deal with as well. We have the Pokestick, we have Tough Speaker, we have Troll Shan to protect ourselves. The problem now is Karma, right? So we are losing to the Karma into like another health pot. This is gonna be interesting. The fact that the opponent just passed there with 9 mana tells me that they had Ruination. So I think it was correct to play around the Ruination. This still gets you down to 3. So this still gets you down to 3, which means that you lose to the Pterodactyls, right? You're gonna have to go for a Ruination right now. And that's game. You lose to the Pterodactyls on the open attack. Because this is dealing 1, so you go down to 2. You know we have the Pokestick as well. I like doing this first because I definitely want to play the Pokestick if I have the chance. So now the opponent has to do something because this pterodactyls just killed him at the open. Okay, so they have a whale. That's cool. That is cool. Can we kill this? We can't kill this Karma, right? Let's look here first. Maybe we have a way to kill Karma. Grant all allies in your deck +2/+2. I don't think that's necessary. I think I like the plunder. Unfortunately, we couldn't find a way to kill the Karma. But I do like just killing this Master Yi. Problem is, again, opponent's gonna have a lot of value. Opponent's gonna have a lot of value to be able to survive long enough to potentially kill us with Karma. That's 2 Master Ys though. When it still goes down to 2 HP, but the health pot, like the Hellstones into health pot, is a big problem. The Ruination is a lot worse now as well, because it will lose their Karma. We have Trojan to save this from like... Okay, so the opponent's gonna go for the Gohar. Okay, so the problem is that the opponent has only used 1 Gohar, right? So that's their problem. Which what that means is that because they have only used 1 Gohar, they don't actually do anything to us, right? Because the 1 Gohar can just kill like the pterodactyl, I guess. Because they only use 1 Gohar so far, it means that even though the Gohar gets copied here, the next Gohar they have in their hand becomes a pack your back, which means that they actually will not be able to play it this turn because they only have 5 mana. So they're not able to play Gohar plus pack. Now, playing Gohar here does keep them alive, which is good for them. This also tells me that I should play around Twin. So let's say the opponent has double Twin. No, let's go here. So if the opponent has double Twin, that goes up to, I guess, 7, 9, 11, 13. So it goes up to 13, which is enough to potentially kill us, but then we have Trollshan to kind of protect ourselves. And opponent still has access to the Gohar, which will heal them too. And then we lose to the pack. But we lose to the pack next turn anyways. I think we go like this. We go like this. Have the opponent commit both twins. Doesn't have the both twins. Okay, so I guess we're chilling then. Has to be pack. Has to be pack, and it gets punished by me playing Trollshan here. Because now the opponent doesn't have another way to, like, opponent cannot do another Gohar, because it has transformed into pack your backs, right? So that Gohar has transformed into pack your back, so the opponent doesn't really have a way to do it. I'm gonna start with Conchologist first. Perfect. Second Trollshan to keep our guys alive here. And then we go Stone Stacker to replace the Conchologist. That way we have all the impact triggers. We did trigger the Gnar last turn, so we technically have the overwhelm damage here. Ooh, the Wallop is actually really good. The Wallop is actually super good. So we go Gnar here. Obviously, opponent can just block. If we don't go Gnar here, opponent could just block this. And that's game. Well, opponent surrendered for us, but I was trying to see if there was any way for us to lose, because we have 3 impact triggers. We have the overwhelm damage. I guess if the opponent had a second whale, that could be a problem. So, GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Nami Master Yi. Interesting. I wonder what the opponent is playing at with this combination of champions. Now, I do like the Gnar. We don't have to worry about Lee Sin, right? I like the Stone Stackers. I like the Gnar a lot as well. So I think I'm going to keep it. I think I'd rather keep my champion. We have the Sejuani. We have the Pokey Stick. The Stone Stacker will get a Swarm towards Sejuani. The Gnar is going to be nice, right? If the opponent has Master Yi early, that could be a little bit annoying. I have to kind of play around the opponent having a bunch of like early, like low-cost spells. The double Pokey Stick is actually amazing, because one thing about Pokey Stick, once you have a leveled up Sejuani, is that even if the opponent has a Nami on the field, you're still gonna be able to like kind of stun her, right? I mean, still freeze even through that. Okay, that's not a Master Yi, so I guess opponent's gonna focus more on leveling up their stuff, right? Question is, do we play the Gnar? I think we go for the Gnar. I think we go for the Gnar and just push the damage this way. I know it means that our Pokestick is gonna go to 0 cost, but I also don't hate the idea of a 0 cost Pokestick. We still get to level up the Gnar anyways because of the impact triggers. Unless the opponent has a way to stop both of these guys from hitting, which I guess technically could be Homecoming. But Homecoming gets punished by the Pokestick anyways. So it will have to be Homecoming plus Momentous Choice for them to deny both triggers on these guys. And actually that's not even true because the opponent only has 2 blockers. So there's no way for them to stop the Gnar from leveling up this turn. Nami. Okay, so that Nami's gonna just get tagged by the Gnar then, right? So that's what they were considering. They were thinking if it was worth it to play Nami. The problem with this Nami is that it's the strongest unit that they have. I guess technically they could commit a spell and make their other units stronger. They could go for the Wuju style here. And that will buff up their Nami to be able to actually kill the Gnar. Oh, they're just gonna recall. Wow, wait, they're playing retreat. Interesting. Interesting, okay. No point in using the Pokestick there, right? Opponent still doesn't know that we have the Pokesticks in our hand. They get the Nami anyways. The Nami goes up to 7, levels up right here. That was actually very interesting for them. Problem is that Sejuani is still very close to leveling up, and this still tags the Nami, so the Nami is always gonna have Overwhelm now. Always gonna have the Vulnerable now, which makes it very likely to just die. And because the opponent still kept one of their other units here, it means that we have a very low chance of just losing to like the Burblefish stuff, right? Here's my thought though. It's a teeny Dactyl. I really like these Pokesticks later on in the game. I think it's gonna be Tough Speaker, Stone Stackers, and just press the offensive, right? Just kind of go wide. I prefer going wide here. I think. Because we can pull this Nami with the Gnar and have 2 other attackers, and then we can play the Teeny Dactyl, and then we have Sejuani for later. Because I think the Pokesticks are better off when we have Sejuani in the field to kind of freeze the opponent's big elusive turn. So I think we can just relax. Unfortunately, opponent did get access to 2nd Double Trouble, so they do get a lot of blockers anyways. But they still have to deal with the Gnar, and we're still gonna have the impact, right, triggering to enable the Teeny Dactyl. So we go like this. Just attack with everything. Opponent doesn't have a ton of great blockers. I mean, I guess they could have a bunch of spells here on the Nami. We play the Teeny Dactyl as long as one of the impact triggers, or even the Overwhelm. So we have Overwhelm here, Impact. And if the opponent gets greedy with their Nami, it could technically die to a Drop the Bomb. Wait, they got that from the Falling Feline. Wait a second. When did that Falling Feline get summoned? Double Trouble summoned the Falling Feline, right? How did the opponent get this so quickly? Oh, Demeditation. They got it from a Demeditation? Alright, I think that's fine. So that's one of the spells they got from Demeditation. This still triggers our Teeny Dactyl, which means that Sejuani levels up next time. Right? And then we can just play Sejuani if the opponent plays their Nami. Opponent has a heavy investment here to just kill this. Or to bounce this back right now. Alright. Here's the question. I don't think I like Drop the Bomb just yet. I don't think I like the Drop the Bomb. Sejuani levels up here, and we have access to double Pokestick. Actually, yeah, we have access to double Pokestick, right? Which means that we can actually just freeze the opponent's board, and even if they have Nami in the field, they cannot buff up their units. So even if they have Nami in the field, they cannot buff up their units. Yeah, let's go here. Because what happens is that the Pokestick is the last thing that happens on the stack, right? Even after all the Nami buffs. I'm willing to let the opponent just attack like this if they want to. The only downside is that because we have this guy on the field, it means that in future turns, that's no longer going to be true, right? So, wow. Alright. I'm chilling. We can just target your Nami next turn. Is this where we go for the drop the bomb? Just so that we can kill a disciple? We might. Maybe that's how we should have started. Wait. No, I like the pass. I like the pass. Opponent just committed a bunch of mana. Right? So opponent just committed a bunch of mana. We can literally just go like this. I don't want the Sejuani to get recall. We have Entomb, we have Pokesticks, we have a lot of ways to punish anything that they might have. That damage, I actually would prefer the opponent bounce this back for us. Because that's the only thing that's keeping us from potentially being okay with Sejuani next turn. This doesn't save you. This doesn't save you. Now that does, right? But that's not even true, because then you still lose to the Pokesticks, right? Do we let ourselves finish them all with Poke? Actually, I mean, I guess they're dying to the Pterodactyls, right? They're just dying to the double Pterodactyls. So they have to recall these guys. They're down to they're gonna be down to 0 HP after we. So even if he does Homecoming, yeah, they lose. That's game. Pterodactyl finishes the game right here, stealing 2. Even if they have a Homecoming, we have enough mana to replay this to replay it again, and we also have Pokesticks to be able to finish up the game. Yeah, I guess opponent can go for lifesteal, so health pot. They go for the health pot, so they get to survive. But we still have the freeze and everything else. And we still have the double Pokestick like we talked about. I guess the problem is that the double Pokestick doesn't do it. So it has to be the freeze. Let's start here. Let's start here and force the opponent to commit the spells right now. Because the Sejuani already trigger. Yeah, the Sejuani already triggers, so it's not gonna actually trigger again. And that's what I talked about. How having this actually ended up being aqua for us. Could the opponent have enough spells to get it back to 8, even after the freeze? The opponent has 3 cards in their hand. It would have to be another. It would have to be another Wuju style, right? Because opponent hasn't played the Hookmaster to actually enable momentous choice. Okay, that's not enough. And there we go. We go here, and this is presenting lethal one more time because these 2 are there, so the opponent has to go for the Homecoming one more time, and there we go. The Pterodactyl actually made it a little bit aqua, right? Because if the Pterodactyl didn't trigger the Sejuani at the start of the turn, we could have gone Pokestick to face, right? Which means that even if the opponent tries to buff with the Bastarian Disciple through the Pokestick goes last, freezing their units. And we had 2 Pokesticks to play around the deny. And then we had the freeze as a backup. So that's why I kind of actually prefer the opponent had killed a Pterodactyl, but, you know, they kept it alive, and we presented lethal by having the second one, so it's fine. So GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Yasuo Katarina. I like drop the bomb, right? Drop the bomb is going to be really good at just being able to stop Katarina. I think I need to get Gnar. There we go. We get the Gnar. This is going to be really good against Katarina, right? I guess he loses to a Nupify or loses to also a Twin. But at this point, I have to try to actually level up Sejuani. The good thing about level up Sejuani is that he actually will counter... Level up Sejuani actually counters Yasuo, right? Because when Yasuo levels up, he actually strikes your nexus. He actually strikes when he stuns something. So, yeah, that's the Katarina. We drop the bomb here. Opponent's gonna have to have Nupify. Twin. Twin also does it, like we talked about. So maybe we actually have to do the freeze, but then the freeze still loses, right? So the freeze still will have lost to almost everything else. So I don't think it was worth it. I think we just passed and forced the opponent to commit this. Actually, I guess it was less damage. It was less damage if we blocked with the Conchologist, because the opponent still was going to kill this Conchologist anyways. Yeah, it was technically less damage if we blocked with the Conchologist and just took the 1 damage to the face, but that's fine. We can play the Gnar here. Play the Gnar here. Opponent goes for the stun. Dope. They could have access to block, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this Poke Stick now. If they block this, that's okay. If they're done, then we level up the Gnar. Alright, cool. We could freeze that. We can always freeze that, right? We can always freeze that Katarina if we wanted to. Otherwise, we're chilling here. We get to trigger a Mammoth Shaman. I'm gonna attack like this first. Don't think Sejuani is worth it just yet. So I like the Sejuani later on. I like forcing the stun out of the opponent. We have already triggered. The only downside here is another opponent could play Katarina and get the rally. I kind of prefer if they level this up. So if they play Katarina, we still have access to a bunch of stuff, right? So I'm okay attacking like that. I'm okay doing this. The opponent's gonna have access to block, obviously, which means that we cannot block. So the opponent's gonna easily have access to the block here. Do I force him to have access to the block? I think I do. I think I like this block. I think I need to force him to have access to the flock. If they have the flock, they have it. But I cannot play. If I fall that far behind, I'm just losing the game. Okay, that's not a flock. That's their second twin instead. This thing still transforms, and we still have a pretty good value here with the Wallops, and as well as Sejuani if we need to. We have a blocker, nice blocker here. Opponent can only play 1 Katarina. They could have access to their landmark, but actually their landmark ends up being worse for them. They might just go ahead and play this stun instead. Let's go Tough Speaker. I like triggering the Sejuani here. This is gonna make it so that Sejuani is about to be leveled up, and opponent's gonna have to kill this Gnar, right? So opponent's gonna have to kill this Gnar, otherwise they just lose on the attack, on the Gnar level up. But we can just play the second Gnar, right? We can just play the second Gnar, and now we can actually drag the Yasuo. We have a blocker for this, so that's not a problem. Opponent cannot attack with Yasuo because of the Mammoth Rager. And we're chilling. Question is, do we play Sejuani? Or do we just open attack, right? I think it probably just has to be the open attack. And I'm gonna pull this with the Gnar, just so that we get to push a little bit more damage with this. I like the open attack, because opponent's obviously gonna have a stun for this, right? There's the stun, there's the second stun. So that's great, and then opponent's gonna be able to summon their... So this is actually gonna lose us the game then, huh? Because opponent's gonna be able to summon the Katarina and just push a ton of damage. But I guess we go like this, and if the opponent goes for Katarina, we can play Sejuani. So if the opponent goes for Katarina, we can play Sejuani. And she cannot level up. The downside is that we're still in a bad spot. Opponent ended up having just enough stuns that they needed there. I'm willing to block. I'm willing to block. Even if the opponent has the flock finally. Right? So let's assume that the opponent finally has the flock. I'm always willing to block this. The downside, I mean, Gnar being on level is actually better for us. We do have the Wallop. We have the Troll Shad.
Striking left and stunning wit.
We can always stun this Katarina, so that's not a problem. So 3.
Sit tight and shut up.
My concern is another stun, right? It's too easy for the opponent to have more stuns than this. The problem is that we lose to the attack. At the very least, we have to lose our Sejuani. Let's pass. I want to force this attack on them. So this is gonna lose to Deny, right? So this is gonna lose to the Deny. But I guess we have the stress defense. So if the opponent has Deny, we can stress defense, and the opponent's gonna have to have the third. Opponent's gonna have to have the third twin. Oh, that's even better. So opponent's gonna have to have the third twin here. That's even better. We get rid of that overwhelm. We get the second one. Is that enough? That is exactly enough. Wow. I did not play around the might. Unfortunately, opponent had the 2 stuns last turn that were just enough to kill us. We could have played... We would have lost anyways, even if we played the stun stackers because of the might. So, GG's. In this matchup, we'll be going up against Twisted Fate Nami. If we can level up Sejuani, we might be slightly okay. I like this hand. I like this hand except for Conchologist, although I guess we don't really have any turn 2 play, but I still think it's better to try to find something better, right? Global Chemist, not bad. Because what we can do is that we can try to put a lot of pressure, right? We can try to put a lot of pressure and just kind of kill them before they get to like their big turn. There's a good chance that the opponent doesn't summon anything else right here, and we can go for a second Chemist. Okay, they do have... They have a blocker. If they didn't have a blocker, they would have been in a worse spot. But unfortunately, they do. I'm gonna go ahead and play the Chemist, because the opponent's gonna probably try to recall this Teeny Dactyl. So opponent's gonna have to recall this Teeny Dactyl, and this second landmark allows me to actually have the Teeny Dactyl enabled, even after the opponent recalls it. Let's just go ahead and get this damage through. That lets us get our... I'm gonna threaten this kill. I'm gonna force the opponent to have to use a spell now, before they actually have, like, Nami leveled up. Alright? I'll take the free Nami. I'll absolutely take that free Nami. Sign me up. So now, like I said, even if the opponent has the recall, the Teeny Dactyl will still stay on the field. Sorry, we are able to trigger the Teeny Dactyl next turn anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and block here, so that the opponent doesn't have anything to play Homecoming with. So this way the opponent doesn't have a way to play Homecoming and doesn't really have a great blocker for this. Yep, they literally had to do the stun because they had nothing else better that they could have done. I like the Gnar here. I like the Gnar here over the second Teeny Dactyl. Right? Just so that we're able to tag that Lee Sin. And we have the freeze next turn to stop the Lee Sin, or we also have the Wallops to stop the Lee Sin from ever actually doing anything to us, right? Sejuani is not leveled up as well, so if we ever get a Sejuani, opponent's gonna be in trouble. Opponent cannot really kill these units, right? I guess now they can. Let's start with Wallop. Let's start with Wallop instead of the freeze. Because I wanna keep mana to be able to play the second Tinidactyl. So we're gonna go here. This is gonna force a deny out of the opponent. And if they have it, they have it. Is it the freeze now? Do we freeze this? Or is it better to just go second Wallop? Let's go second Wallop. I think the freeze is gonna be better for later on. Because the freeze doesn't boost to a second deny, right? The Wallop does. In Chemist here. Allowing us to drag this guy with the Chemist next turn. So this way we can push this damage through. I guess opponent could have access to a second, like, attack. Alright. They don't. So it's actually not going to be Sejuani, by the way. Because the problem with Sejuani is that she triggers right away at the beginning of the turn, which means that the opponent will be able to buff Lee Sin back up, right? So I think it's actually better to just play the second Tinidactyl instead and just push damage that way and then have the mana for 3 sisters as well as Sejuani next turn. But it's gonna Blood Bait, which means it's gonna make their draw worse. Wow. And they still decided to take the full 5 damage from the Mega Gnar instead of trying to block with the Palm. So now they go to 2. So just like that, they go to 2 HP, by the way. So now they go to 2 HP. This takes into 1, and then any Tinidactyl staying alive takes into 0. So opponent has to kill us this turn, which they never will. Between Stress Defense and 3 Sisters, they're never beating us. So as long as one of these stay alive, we're fine. Because that will do the last damage that we need. Opponent obviously kills one of them with Lee Sin. That's an expensive card to use. That's a very expensive card to use. They get the Nami. I don't think it's Sejuani. I think we're just chilling. Like, we forced the opponent to have something here. I don't think there's any combination of spells that kills us here because the opponent hasn't enabled Momentous Choice yet, right? They haven't played the Hookmaster, so they don't have Momentous Choice counting as 2 spells. So I'm not scared of like Momentous Choice, giving them a ton of value. And again, at any time we can just stress defense. I guess opponent could have health pot here, which could be really annoying. Oh, opponent actually, I think that's the wrong drag. Wait, do we just press OK? I mean, I actually don't mind blocking with Gnar. I don't hate blocking with Gnar, to be honest. It gets me access to the Pokestick. We always, and he also, Gnar is going to level up anyways. We always just flash freeze here. If we get into a little bit of trouble, we stress defense, and then we can replay that Pterodactyl, and we're fine. We get a Pokestick from Gnar, so now the opponent has to also wear a Pokestick. I understand attacking with everything because you want to percent lethal, but it allowed us to block with the Gnar, right? Which is probably not what which as the opponent is probably not what you want. That's the Momentous Choice. We had talked about it, how Momentous Choice is not a problem, right? Because the opponent's not getting any value from it. Additionally, because we froze the Lee Sin, it means that their spells go here. Here goes the Tailstone. I mean, sorry, here goes the health pot. We're still chilling. Still chilling, right? Why do we keep... So, do we have to keep this Gnar alive? I don't think so, right? I don't think so. I think we just replay the Pterodactyl, play Pokestick now because the opponent doesn't have any more cards. and then play, yeah, so the opponent doesn't have access to deny this. Opponent goes down to 1 HP, and then we have 2 pterodactyls to kind of finish them up. The only downside here, because as long as one of these pterodactyls hits, we win, right? Yeah, as long as one of these 2 hits, we're fine. Sure. I mean, you're gonna block releasing anyways, right? Let's say that the opponent goes for Homecoming. Homecoming doesn't do it. So Homecoming doesn't do it, right? If they have the health pot, I guess they do go to 4. It actually was better to just pass. I think it was better to just pass there, right? I got a little bit greedy. It was better to just pass because the opponent has to deal with our pterodactyls if we pass. By not passing, we open ourselves to losing both pterodactyls and the opponent having like a second health pot to get to 4 HP. And the pterodactyls only do 2. So it was a slight bit of a throw from us. You had to always just be the open pass, but yeah, GG's. Hey, welcome back everybody. Hope you enjoyed those games. You kind of see what I mean. This deck, I feel like, does really well against Nami decks. You saw us beating the 3 tides. We beat 3 different variants of Nami decks today. We did lose, right, to the Katarina Yasuo game, and that's because Turtwig just plays so well, right? They kind of play all around their outs, and I really didn't expect those 2 mites, right? So all those stunts really stopped us because we do like to attack and rely on that vulnerable to be able to kind of pull their champions away and be able to kill them. But, you know, enough about that. In terms of mulligan, I always like keeping the Chemist, and I always like keeping one of Teenidactyl preferably, but also one of Gnar, right? So keeping the Chemist and to then enable the Gnar or the Teenidactyl is usually the best curve that you can ask for. If you are attacking on odds, you don't mind keeping a Tusk Speaker so that you can play this on turn 2 and advance to Sejuani. But if you're not attacking on odds, then I don't think you need to keep Tusk Speaker, right? You want to go for your Chemist, Stone Stacker more than anything else, and then keep your Gnar or the Teenidactyl. I do like keeping Sejuani if I already have a good enough early curve to be able to level her up. Otherwise, you can just hope that you get Sejuani later in the game, unless it's a matchup where you feel like Sejuani is very critical, in which case you can obviously keep her. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the games today, and I hope you learned a thing or 2 about this deck. If you did like this video, please be sure to like it below and subscribe to us. We post LOR videos every single day. You can also find us on Twitch at Sirturmund, where we stream 2-3 times a week, and also find us on Discord and Twitter. The links to those are both in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all again tomorrow.